welcome along to the West Wales Karting Virtual Racing Project Cars 2 race here today, and it's the one we've all been waiting for now. The build-up has been intense for weeks, and we finally arrived at the championship decider of the PS4 Clio Cup Championship, and it's been held at probably one of the best tracks for deciders, the Japanese Suzuka circuit, otherwise known as Sakkito Sprint, on this game on Project Cars 2, and it's a straight shootout for the title between Stuart Davis and Dan Holloway. Stuart holding a slight margin of 5 points over his championship nemesis. It's been between those two for the last few races now, and it's still up for grabs. Third place, Monty, MC Momo, Del Boy and Spitfire, so anything can still happen here. And the starting grid looks like this. Stuart Davis, championship leader, starts on pole position best way possible by quite a considerable 3/10. It's quite a big gap considering what it's been like between those two this season from Dan Holloway. And then Del Boy in third, Monty, MC Momo and Welsh Taff having a great qualifying, seems to like this circuit. And we're on the grid now, waiting for the lights, and it's go, and another good start from Stuart Davis. It's the best start you could hope for, but Dan Holloway's under pressure from Monty, MC Momo, who's really made a great start as well. A great launch off the grids. Dan's on the inside defending, and I think that's also Welsh Taff and Del Boy battling there as well, but Del Boy's now got in the inside of Monty, and Stuart Davis still leads by the very slight margin, but Dan's attacking him, look, and they're side by side. They're going to be trading paint going through the next corners, are they? And they're getting very close in the back as well. Stuart's got the inside line, Dan's driving right way around the outside. They're not touching until now, and they do, and that's Dan off. Dan's off in a cloud of smoke on the gravel, but he's coming back on the circuit now and narrowly avoids collecting Del Boy's yellow car, and Del Boy goes up into second now, and Dan's slowed back into third place with Welsh Taff and Monty, MC Momo all over the back of him. Not a great start here for Dan Holloway, but he really needs to make up some lost ground now, because he can't let Stuart get too far ahead. And in the background, Spitfire and Pick Z have fallen a bit back off this battle, but look how close the top four are, and that's Dan off again. Dan's off, he's brushed the barrier, he's having a very scruffy opening lap here, and he's now taken out all the cones as well, for good measure. And now Dan is behind Monty. Monty's defending hard, and they're going side by side through the last couple of corners here, and a disastrous start for Dan Holloway in this opening lap of the decider, Alex.
Yeah, that's the worst lap he could have had. He's gone from second to fourth, and now he's got to pass 3 cars if he wants to win the championship, but looks like he's going to start out with that work by passing Monty into the first corner. He's got the slipstream and he's almost side by side. You just have to be brave on the brakes, outbrake him and just get him. He's got the inside line. Oh, they're close. Might have just touched, but Monty's hanging it on the outside there. It was great driving, but he's still ahead. Fair play to him. But this is going to really frustrate Dan, who'll want this championship, and especially since he can see Stu still up ahead.
Yeah, and let's not forget, Dan Holloway was leading this championship right up until the last couple of laps, the last race, which also was held here. And he's down the inside of Monty now, and they're rubbing wheels. Oh, look at this. Don't crash, guys. Keep it on the grey bit. Dan decides to dip 2 wheels on the green bit, but he stays facing in the right direction, now heading up to the very fast, very dangerous Degner corners. And Dan decides to back out of it a bit, but Monty's carried too much speed, and I think he's off. Yes, he is. He's off, coming back on in front of Dan. Dan avoids him, and Dan's down the inside now. He's going to take third away, I think, is he? Yes, he is. He takes third position away to Dan Holloway, but he's lost a lot of ground now. He's, well, I say a lot of ground. He's only 2 seconds off the leader, actually. It seems like it should be more than that, considering his adventures so far. But Del Boy's really trying hard. He wants this win. Stewart can't afford to push too hard with his championship nemesis now falling back a little bit. So, yeah, Stewart just needs to finish ahead of Dan, let's not forget, to win the title.
Yeah, if you were Stu, would you let Del Boy through just so you've got that bit of comfort, or would you rather a car? Oh, he's almost around Del Boy. Or would you prefer that car as the barrier between the two of you, Sam?
Oh, I don't know, that's a tough one, that is. I think if Del Boy was down the inside, I'd probably let him go, rather than fighting it too hard. But at the same time, you can't afford to just back off and let people by either. But I think, yeah, if you're losing time, you've got to let the guy go, isn't it? You've got to think of the championship. But, Stuart, he's a racer, and he won't want to do that. But Del Boy is really taking this race by the scruff of the neck. We saw him make one error in the last one, which could have cost him a potential win in the end, and he wants to make amends for that, and he really is doing so now, isn't he? But what would you do, Alex?
There's only 5 points in it, so it's hard, but win guarantees the championship, but second's a bit more touch to go, especially with Dan now only 1.6 seconds behind, and he's also dragging Monty along with him, so that's 2 cars that if they get past, that's the championship gone.
Absolutely, Stewart now he needs to focus hard, and for his sake, look at that yellow car ahead. It might be quite difficult to do in this yellowy orangey sunset we've got going on here, quite a lot of glare, and yeah, he needs to just get a move on. But Dan Holloway is really getting a move on now. After a very slow start, he's getting up to speed, isn't he? And you can see the Dan Holloway machine coming down the straight after Stuart Davis, and they could be getting very close before long.
Yeah, especially with the pace of Dan. He did a 1:24.9 to Stu's 1:26, so that's a hell of a last lap by Dan. He's really going to try and catch you up and get this championship back.
Yeah, do you know one thing I just thought of? It might work to his benefit, that opening scruffy lap, because all the nerves and the pressure would have just fallen away from him after that. He would have thought that he'd absolutely lost it, and now he's only got one way to win this, and he's got to fight hard for it. Whereas Stewart on the other side of the coin had not a bad start, and he's still got all the nerves. Maybe he could be a little bit tight, whereas Dan's driving very loose now.
Yeah, it's sort of like the opposite of the first race here, where Stu was just throwing it all at Dan, whereas Dan now is throwing it all at Stu, so it's kind of flip-flopped now. So it looks like it's going to be a very interesting finale, especially with Del Boy out in the lead still.
Yeah, and Del Boy hasn't got away, has he, from these two? So he is backing Stewart. Well, he's not really yet, but he could be backing Stewart back into Dan, but he doesn't need to anymore. Look at that. And they're making up their own line now. That's the championship rival special racing line through the last corner. And brilliant stuff. And Stuart Davis is really under attack. Look, Dan Holloway's right in the slipstream, and he's coming, and he's switching his lights on, and is he going to pull out and dive? What do you reckon? Is he? He's not quite close enough.
No, that's not rear corner to overtake. Maybe this one. Oh, he's just touched and he's on the grass. He's lost all his momentum now, and that's cost him again. He's back down to a second. Just one little mistake, a bit over eager, and it's cost him. But there's plenty of time left in this race, so he can try and build that back up. But like you said, it's almost as if Del Boy's pushing Stu back. They're that close.
Yeah, almost. But yeah, it's going to be extremely interesting. Let's not forget 15-minute races these are. So a lot can happen in 15 minutes. If you've been watching this championship, you'll certainly know that. And in these cars as well. It's been incredibly unpredictable all through the season. And it's been more unpredictable now because Del Boy, the leader, has gone off. And he's thrown away the lead to Stuart Davis. And now Dan Holloway's coming too. Is he going to get past as well? He is. And very unfortunate for Del Boy. And I think that's where he threw away race 1 as well at Sakkito. Very unfortunate indeed. But he's still in the shout of keeping with these two anyway.
Yeah, that was almost like a replay of the first round here. He's just a bit too eager. Back end went straight on into the gravel trap, so he didn't really learn from that from the first time. He's thrown away another potential win here, but it's really spiced up the championship now, especially with Stewart leading and Dan so close behind.
Yeah, and this is almost a little summary of this championship, isn't it? Is that these two have been the most consistent of all of them. Del Boy's been there with his pace. He's made a few errors. He's been a bit unlucky too at times, but he's certainly attacking Dan Holloway. Oh, look, he's off now. He had to avoid Dan there. He had such a good exit out of the first couple of corners, and he's really backed off now from the two leaders, unfortunately for him. There was nearly a big collision there. Between Del Boy and one of the championship rivals, but he just narrowly avoids it. Good bit of car control there as well to keep it back on the circuit. And Dan Holloway now breathes a sigh of relief because now he's got Stewart all to himself.
Yeah, there might even be in a bit of contact there because it looked like Del Boy was swarming all over the back of Dan Holloway, but couldn't get past. Dan blocked, and Del Boy had to avoid, but he's still pushing it through that Degner 1. He's sliding that car about. He's really wanting to catch these two up because he knows there's a chance of a win because he had the pace on him.
Yeah, and if he finishes where he is, he's got a chance of getting third in the championship too, let's not forget. So for him, he's thinking about that as well in the back of his head, although I'm sure he really wants this win. And riding on the bumper now of Dan, he really does take a really clean line through there. Look, Stewart's a little bit sideways now, and he gives him just about enough racing room, and they're side by side, almost touching, going down the straight at over 140 mile an hour now. 150 mile an hour coming across the line. And look how close they are. Stewart's on the inside, but Dan's got the better run, and he's ahead by the time they get there. And he takes to the grass a little bit, does Dan Holloway, and Stuart Davis fires there's a bit of flame out of his exhaust in retaliation, and now he's trying to come out back at Dan, but he hasn't quite got the momentum, and Dan is in a clear lead now.
Yeah, it was a great move there from Dan, just better final corner exit. Got him with the slipstream, and he's through on the first corner. Now it's up to Stu now to try and get that lead back and get the championship back in his hands. It's really swung Dan's way.
Yeah, this is incredible stuff. I mean, we had a great race in the finale of the Xbox Clio Cup Championship, where the live championship result was changing almost on a lap-by-lap basis, and that time it was between Chris Doherty and Alex CDL, and coming across the line it was just bumper to bumper, and Chris Doherty managed to just nick the championship win there, and it could come down to that again this race, couldn't it?
Yeah, you'd have to hope so. Hope for another nail-biting conclusion, but you never know. These two are so close, so even, anything can happen.
Yeah, and Stewart really does attack those two. The bumps on the last couple of corners there. You have to wonder whether he'd be better off taking a smoother line like Dan Holloway is. He does seem to be losing time on those corners and then gains it back in the first couple of corners. Just watching trackside here, it's very hard to tell, but yeah, I mean, Stewart, he really does need to pass him, because if Dan finishes where he is now, he's going to win the championship, and Dan has driven absolutely fantastically. Let's not forget, since the opening couple of laps, which were very scruffy, especially by his standards, he's really come back now, and now he finds himself in the lead, and he's still got a handful of laps to go. So the pressure is swinging here. The pendulum of pressure, let's call it, has swung now back towards Dan, and Stuart Davis is the one with nothing to lose.
Yeah, as he goes wide there, so that's not going to help. But like I said, that last corner, he is really attacking those curbs, and obviously you can't accelerate if the wheels are in the air. So you might want to just copy Dan and just maybe bring it back a bit, so you can just get all that power down and clean it up a bit. But Dan's really just starting to eke out a lead here. It's almost a second now.
Yeah, and as the sun sets at Sakkito, it looks like the sun could be setting on Stuart Davis's championship challenge. But it's not over yet. Let's not forget what happened at Sakkito in the first race here. These guys, two mistakes by the championship rivals in the last couple of laps, really swung the race around quite quickly. There's Pick Z we're looking at. We haven't seen much of him. He's coming around the first couple of corners now. He's in 7th position. He's quite a bit way off Spitfire, but he's really giving it a solid go here, and he's still getting up to speed in this championship. This is one of his first championships with us. So hopefully we'll see him in many more races to come down the line. And yeah, he's still getting up to speed. Spitfire as well, we're looking at him now chasing hard on Welsh Taff. Welsh Taff just nicked a position away from Spitfire on the first race, didn't he? And Welsh Taff, I've been really impressed with him at this circuit. He's been going really well, hasn't he, Alex? Yeah,
he's really come into his own in these final two championships. He was behind a bit, especially the man behind him, Spitfire, but he seems to have just gelled with this track as he goes wide there. So let's go allow Spitfire to come back at him, but that was poor timing there by Welsh Taff, as we're just praising him.
I know. Yeah, it looks like he was gelling with the circuit, and then he was gelling with the sand trap, or the tight gravel trap on the outside of turn 1 there. But thankfully not too gelled with it, because he's back on the circuit now, and he's still ahead of Spitfire. So those two having an absolutely cracking race between them for 5th and 6th. Del Boy is
in 4th.
by himself. Yes, he's in 4th. He's by himself a little bit, isn't he? He's got a bit of a gap in front of him and behind him. But he really needs to try and catch Monty if he can, because those two are battling for 3rd. Let's not forget, Monty's in 3rd at the moment, so he must have passed Del Boy at some point.
Yeah, he must have made a mistake, because he was ahead as Welsh Taff makes a mistake, and that's allowed Spitfire through. But yeah, Del Boy was ahead of Monty by about 2 seconds, so he must have gone off somewhere, and that's just allowed Monty through again.
Yeah, certainly, and I don't think that's going to change the order of them in the championship. But you never know. You never know what could happen up front too. These two could yet collide. We've only got another lap or so to go here, and this is Stewart now really putting the pressure on Dan Holloway. And Stuart Davis versus Dan Holloway, the finale of the championship. Who is going to get to the line first between them? Whoever does it is going to win the title, and this is exactly, as race fans, what we want to see. If only it was like this in Formula 1.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant, especially if we had more teams really going for it. But looks like it might be like that in the 2022 regulations. I think they're going for where it's going to be hopefully closer racing. But back to this now, it's Stu really hustling Dan, and he's actually catching quite a bit now. He's got it from 8 tenths down to 2 tenths or 3 tenths. It's really closing in as it comes to possibly the last lap now. Oh, Stu's made a mistake there. Oh, that's going to cost him big time. And as he just handed the championship to Dan.
Quite possibly he had Dan by the scruff of the neck there, coming out of the last corner. He went for it, and that seems to be where he's been struggling most, isn't it, on those last couple of corners? And he had 2 wheels in the air. Like you said earlier, Alex, if you've got 2 wheels in the air, you're not going to be accelerating as much, are you?
No, it looks spectacular, but it's not fast. As we see Del Boy in 4th, he's really falling back. He must have made quite a big mistake to lose that much time, especially to the leaders, because he was as fast as the leaders at one point, but that's not going to bother this man. Monty in 3rd, he'll be happy. But Stu looks like he's really on it this last lap. He's slowly catching again, so he's really trying to throw some heroics into this final last lap and try and make something happen.
You're absolutely right, Alex, and he's got absolutely nothing to lose now. They both arrived at this point with the championships on the line. Whatever they've got left in the tank, so to speak, they've just got to show it. Look at Stewart attacking that corner. He's really got close to Dan. Dan has been driving quite conservatively this lap, I think, and he could pay for it if Stewart gets any closer. And it's between these two for the championship, coming up to the last couple of corners. I think this is going to be the last lap now. So Dan Holloway is going to win the championship if he finishes where he is now. Stewart's going to absolutely attack the last couple of corners and makes up his own line a little bit through there. But I don't think he's going to be close enough, because Dan exits the last corner ahead of Stewart. Stewart's flashing his lights, but to no avail. And Dan Holloway comes across the line and he wins the Clio Cup Championship. The Westwoods Karting PS4 Clio Cup Championship goes to Dan Holloway, just on the line by less than a second from Stuart Davis. Fantastic racing between those two, and Monty MC Momo comes across the line now to take 3rd position as well.
Yeah, that was surprisingly close towards the end, especially with Stu's little mistake, but I wonder if he was flashing to say congratulations to Dan going across the line there.
Yeah, could have been saying congratulations, or it could have been saying many other words. We'll never know.
Yeah, you never know with these two. But close between Spitfire and Welsh Taff again, especially after the first race, and Spitfire just gets him. Yeah,
and there's a rundown of the race order in the end. Dan Holloway, look at that lap he did, 24.6. Where did that come from? Incredible. Del Boy as well had some good pace there, but threw away a few points. And this is what it does for the final championship stand-in. So it's Dan Holloway by just 2 points ahead of Stuart Davis. Takes the championship glory, and Stuart there has to settle for 2nd. Monty MC Momo takes 3rd ahead of Del Boy and Spitfire. That was a very hotly contested trio there towards the end of the championship. And Welsh Taff takes 6th away from Pixie and Alex Brown. What a great championship that was, and we hope to see you soon.